Hash Sagafi, Liberty Home Mortgage. What's today's video about? Why losing is a good thing. I was actually talking to my very good friend. So this video was born from a conversation that I had with a very good friend, Jim Capel. So we were talking about losing and the power of losing, not the power of winning, the power of losing. So where did all of this come from? I'm gonna give you the multiple reasons why losing is a good thing. So for all the lunatics out there, Hash, losing is never good. I don't know, it depends how you look at it. I would never purposely go out to lose at anything, never. Who in the world does, okay? But how you handle it is a different story. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about my college wrestling career. So I wrestled at Oklahoma State University. We have 34 national team titles. We are the most decorated college athletic program in NCAA history, okay? We have the most team national titles, which are not easy to win. I was on a team, as a matter of fact, that we won the team title in 1994 at UNC Chapel Hill, University of North Carolina. It was awesome, okay, winning a team title. So that was great. So I was surrounded by the greatest of the great. A lot of my coaching staff is in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. A few of them are on the Mount Rushmore of the sport. John Smith, Kenny Monday, Kendall Cross, Olympic gold medalist. I mean, I can just rattle off names of teammates who are National Wrestling Hall of Fame. They've wrestled, whatever it was. So I was surrounded by winners all the time. But what about me? I lost a lot, okay? So was losing ever good, or how was losing a good thing? I'm gonna give you the reasons why losing is good, okay? Or why you learn from it. Number one, it builds character. It makes you a stronger person. When you get defeated and beaten, you learn from it. You learn from the experience. It teaches us to recover from defeat. You know what losing in wrestling was great for? You know what good came from it? When I would lose a wrestling match and I was at a tournament, which happened quite a bit, especially in college, when I would lose, I had another wrestling match coming back in 40 minutes. So I only had literally 40 minutes to recover from the emotional effect of that loss. I had to come back out in 40 minutes like I was walking on sunshine. So at the 40-minute mark, when you're stepping out of the mat for your next match, you had to walk out there like you just won your last match and you were in the finals of the tournament, you're about to win the tournament. You did not have time to dwell on the defeat, to cry about it, to complain about it. You had to recover immediately, okay? So losing actually teaches us how to recover as long as we take that choice and take that opportunity to learn from it. Here's another thing. It makes us resilient. What's resilient? Resilient is bouncing back, okay? When you lose and you come back, and especially, I just always use the sport of wrestling. When you come back and you win, it teaches you, like, holy smokes, I may have lost, but I came back an hour later and I won. Like, I can recover. It teaches you to be resilient. We all know this. When a lot of people lose, they stay down in the hole that they're in, and it only causes future losses and bigger losses. The losses get even bigger. It teaches us how to handle adversity, okay? A lot of people in this world cannot handle adversity. This is just a reality of society today. People can't take being yelled at. People can't take being talked to abrasively or anything. And I know a lot of people watching, Hesh, you gotta be a human being. You wanna know something, man? When I wrestled in college, and even beyond wrestling, when I worked at a job, there's times you don't have time to be nice. I don't have time to say please and thank you and yes and no. And if it's the 10th time I'm telling you something when you should have gotten it right the first time, this is how you're gonna get talked to. You're gonna talk to a lot worse, as a matter of fact. When you face adversity, okay, do you quit and you're not gonna do that to me, or I'm not gonna handle this? Or do you say, you know what, why am I being talked to like that? And how am I gonna recover from it? You know something my mom would always say to me? If I got in trouble at school, or I got yelled at by a teacher, which wasn't yelling, but let's just say it was yelling, you know what my mom would say? She wouldn't say, why did they talk to you like that? How dare they? You know what she'd say to me? She'd say this to me 1,000 times over. She'd say, what did you do that made them say that? And she'd always say to me, they didn't come in to yell at you or talk down to you. You did something that you deserved it, you got it, and that's how they spoke. Now fix it. And you know what? I'm 49 years old today, and if I could talk to my mom right now and she understood what I was saying, I'd say thank you for the life lesson. Because when I was a child and mommy and daddy didn't coddle me and go to the school and have a talk with the principal and the superintendent over, you can't talk to my boy like that, and he's a human being, and on and on and on. Because of that, and because it was like tough love a little bit of like, step up and deal with it, kid. Too bad for you. I am where I am today, which is a pretty damn good place. So it teaches you how to handle adversity, okay? I got news for every parent out there. Sooner or later in this life, God willing, you will be gone before your child is gone, and your child is going to be on their own. You won't always be there. You can't always protect them, okay? Allow them to make mistakes. Allow them to fail. Allow them to deal with adversity. Even though it's difficult, sometimes you got to kick them out of the nest and let them deal with it while you're still here, because God forbid, protect them all the way up until you're gone. And when you're gone, they got nobody left to protect them. That's a scary thought. Here's one for you. Losing causes you to have a short memory. When I would wrestle and I would lose a match, you know what coach would say? He'd say, you have to have a short memory. Forget about that one. Let's get ready for the next one. You've got to forget about the defeat. So when I would come back in my next match, I couldn't be dwelling on the loss that occurred 1 hour earlier. Or maybe I had a match this weekend and I lost, but then I had the match next weekend. When I had the match next weekend, I couldn't be dwelling on that thought in the past. There's a saying, okay? Don't live in the rearview mirror. It's not the past anymore, okay? A lot of people out there live in the rearview mirror. They're constantly talking about their past, their failures, how they were screwed over, how they got the wrong end of the stick, and how life has been unfair and all this other stuff. I got news for you. None of us can go back into the past. If I could go back into the past, I would go to a Tom Petty concert. I always said to my buddy, I want to go see Tom Petty in concert. I never did. I also wanted to see Meatloaf in concert, to tell you the truth. And like, I'm starting to give all these names, and I'm like, dude, like, am I getting that old? Like I always thought, like, no, they're not like that old. They ain't going anywhere, but they're going somewhere, right? And meanwhile, you know, Mick Jagger's still touring, Rolling Stones are still touring, and all the rest. I'm not a Stones fan. They're from like this, they're not even from the 70s. They're from like the 60s, for God's sakes. Jeez Louise, that's a whole nother story, okay? So it gives you a short memory, okay? Here's the biggest thing that losing teaches you. You are not entitled. There's no entitlement, okay? Nobody is picked to win. Like, nobody's chosen to win. I am so against participation trophies, and let's have a league where there's no first or second or third place. Let's have a league where everybody gets a trophy. Well, for all of the moms and dads who buy into that pure trash, okay? Take it from, you heard it from me, that's garbage. You know what? There should be a first, a second, a third, and a fourth. And there should be kids that don't get given anything, that no, you didn't even finish the damn race. You gotta finish the race. I got news for you. When you quit at something today, it becomes that much easier to quit at something in the future. And it gets easier and easier and easier. And there's sayings on this stuff, okay? Quitters never win and winners never quit. So don't sit here and give me this entitlement garbage that you're entitled to something. You are entitled to nothing. Losing teaches you that. You suddenly start learning. Guess what? There are a lot of tournaments I didn't get a participation trophy in. I didn't get a participant ribbon in. Coach didn't say to me, Hesh, you lost, but you did a great job. No, it was, Hesh, you lost. You got to fix that problem. We got to turn this thing around, okay? There's a lot of reasons out there why losing is a good thing. I'm not saying to go out to lose at all. But when you lose, when you face defeat, when you face adversity, you really have two choices. Quit and give up, or pull up your bootstraps. And I always tell this to people, look up, get up, and don't ever give up, okay? There's a lot of reasons out there you spring back and you come back. A lot of opportunities arise from setbacks. Allow the comeback to be greater than the setback. Think about that saying, you have to allow the comeback to be greater than the setback. The story of the comeback must be greater. A lot of people have a setback and that becomes their story. It's kind of sad, it's kind of pathetic. It is what it is. That's the road they choose. If you have a setback in your life, it doesn't matter if it's in wrestling, baseball, football, sales, a job, your business, your marriage, who knows what it is. Whatever the setback is, say to yourself, the comeback must be even greater. Because when the comeback is greater than the setback, that's when people will look to you for advice, inspiration, motivation, and direction when they face adversity. This is why losing is not always a bad thing. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned when you lose, because we all lose. Nobody ever goes undefeated. Nobody ever comes out totally clean and free from the bandages, the wounds, the scars of battles, but you learn from this stuff. Subscribe to my page, put your comments below if you believe in participation trophies and garbage like that. Just get lost, because I have no room for that trash, quite honestly. Too bad for you. Put all your comments on there you want, okay? Not in for any of that garbage, because it creates a softer person, a quitter. It creates 1,000 other issues with it. Nonetheless, subscribe to my page, like it, comment, share it, and keep following my videos. And if you have some live Tom Petty videos, let's see them, man. I love the dude. Okay, talk to you guys later. Thanks.